You look at these two starting pitchers, both appeared in the All-Star break or All-Star game, excuse me. Hunter Greene, not so good in the All-Star game, but Reynaldo Lopez pitched one inning of scoreless baseball. Cast that aside. I don't even consider that. Hunter Greene, though, over his last three starts prior to the All-Star break, a 1.02 ERA and an 0.85 WHIP. He's not giving you a lot of innings. But he's going to be facing an Atlanta team that's really struggled offensively of late. I mean, as a matter of fact, they're averaging 2.9 runs per game over their last 7 games. So this sets up well for Hunter Greene to give you at least a good 5.5 to 6 innings pitched. Reynaldo Lopez at home this year has just been unbelievable. A 1.24 ERA at home. And the Atlanta bullpen, since July the 1st, really good. 2.39 ERA, 0.99 WHIP. As a matter of fact, this Braves bullpen has been amongst the best in baseball all season long. Cincinnati's bullpen is not great, but they can do enough in this situation against a struggling offensive team in the Atlanta Braves. And it's really hard to say that because we think of the Atlanta Braves in recent years, Teddy. We think of this high-powered offense, puts up a lot of runs and exhibits a lot of power, but that hasn't been the case of late. And really, when you look at their overall numbers for the season, very disappointed in that regard. Of course, they had that key loss injury, so I'm sure that has a little to do with that as well.
Yeah, so the 8s are gone. We're looking at 7.5s now, pretty much across the board, looking at the free WagerTalk live option. Yeah, I don't see any 8s still standing on that. So it's 7.5. Here's my question for you. And again, this is all it's previous history, but every meeting between these two teams, last year they played 6 times and all 6 of them went over the total. All 6 of them had 9 runs or more. Does that ever factor into your equation where like the series history is pointing the other direction? Or is it a non-factor when you're talking about, hey, those games were played whenever and these games are being played now?
No, it's a great question, Teddy. And yes, it does factor into my decisions. And if it was a different starting pitching matchup, of course, that would factor in even more heavily. But when I'm looking at the fact that Atlanta right now can't hit their way out of a paper bag, and you got 2 all-star caliber starting pitchers right now, in Atlanta's bullpen, how good they've been, you have to leave something out anytime you handicap a game, right? Very seldom are you going to find 10 good points and not find 1 point that worries you a little bit. And the 1 point that worries me a little bit, the starting pitching matchup, supersedes that. So hopefully I answered that to your satisfaction.